The honest truth is that most companies are losing revenue month after month, week after week, because they haven't set up their touchpoint systems to be designed to develop and birth compounding revenue. We're going to talk about touchpoint systems in this video. I'm going to break down what a touchpoint system is, how to make sure your touchpoint systems are optimized for compound growth, and we're going to jump right into it because I have a lot to say and not enough time. A touchpoint just means something happened. If you're working with Marketo or Salesforce, you're probably going to have something called an interesting moment that just says, hey, this moment happened, and it's great as a quick report to a salesperson. Or you're going to have touchpoint reports that says someone filled out a form, someone clicked a link, someone visited a web page. But do you actually have systems that work with those touchpoints that activate when a specific touchpoint is done? Today, we're going to talk about how to turn every interaction into a revenue building touchpoint system. And we're going to do that in record-breaking time because I don't have a lot of time today. So I'm going to try to jump into this as quick as possible. But we want to make sure that all of our touchpoints are covered, which are emails, form fills, text messages, websites visits, meetings, purchases. Everything needs to have a revenue generated system behind it. If you're looking at this video and you're a RevOps professional, you're kind of amen me right now. If you don't have a RevOps guy on your team, then this is basically RevOps 101. Make sure that you have operational systems in your company that is consistently building you revenue. Without that, your company is going to be just chasing leads, chasing its tail in a sense, trying to get the next big thing when you have a lot of revenue just sitting there ready to be made. So there's a big problem with this that nobody really sees. Most companies view touchpoints emotionally. That just means, wow, somebody downloaded something. This is great. This is awesome. We're doing a good job. That was a great email that went out. Hey, somebody booked a call. Somebody visited our site. You know, we look at these things and we make an emotional like high five about it, but we don't put a system behind it to say, okay, somebody visited the site. How can we turn that into a workflow that follows up with that person based on what they looked at? Somebody bought a product. How do we add them into a workflow that's going to cross-sell, upsell, ask for a review of that product? This is where we're getting with touchpoint systems. And I'm going to go through all the touchpoint systems that I normally audit for, and we're going to go through our color process of how I color things, from green to amber to red, if it is a good touch point or if it's a bad touch point. So if you're watching this video and you've made it this far, at the end of the video, I will have a downloadable PDF that will explain my coloring system, the touch point audit that we're talking about today, so that you can bring this to your company and make sure it is implemented. So diving back in, although everybody sees these touch points emotionally, they don't necessarily look at them with predictable outcomes. So what happens? A lead gets lost, sales forgets to follow up, conversions die, meeting no-shows happen, customers churn quietly, referrals never get requested, and upsell opportunities still get untouched. And because of that, you're going to have a culture in your company, if you're not careful, of where's the next lead? Where's the next lead? How do we find the next lead? Instead of, here's customers who actually already know us, trust us, purchase from us. How can we get more business out of them? Here are customers who haven't purchased yet, but they're really active on our site. How can we get business out of them? Until we close those gaps, lead gen's not going to really help you to build the kind of income your company needs and that your company has the potential to get to. So although all these things are happening, none of it's intentional. A salesperson doesn't want to drop a lead. Nobody wants a lead to be untouched. Nobody wants a lead to get lost. But because there's no system in place, humans are going to make mistakes. Humans are going to get sick. Humans are going to have birthdays, weddings, things they have to go to. They're not always going to be around to answer and to respond to a touch point. This is why you need an automated system, because where humans fail, systems do not. So we need to shift our mindset to understand that every touch point is a revenue moment. Every revenue moment should be an automated system. So we're going to dive into this. So on the screen, I'm going to put a quick graph, and that basically shows some examples of what we're talking about with touch points. Like a person visiting a website could be retargeted, invited to a resource. Someone who's downloading something could be nurtured and routed to sales. A support ticket could be an upsell opportunity. A purchase can trigger onboarding, referral asks, or even cross upselling. A no-show can auto reschedule, plus add them to a nurture that says they're interested, they're just not willing to pull the trigger yet. A churn, somebody just basically saying, hey, I don't want the service anymore, can be a win-back sequence, or what we call even a recycle nurture, where we say, okay, this person left our service or they weren't ready for our service, we'll put them in this nurture, we'll reach out to them slowly, and eventually they'll come back once they're ready to buy again. And obviously a positive review. If somebody leaves a positive review, it is very emotional for us to high-five each other and say, wow, look what just happened. But systematically, we need to look at that and have something in place that follows up with that person and says, hey, thanks for the review, you rock. Do you mind referring us? Do you mind making a case study with us? Do you mind having a video of you talking about how happy you are? These are things that customers who are, if they're happy enough to jump on Yelp or to jump online and leave you a good review, they're going to be more than happy to support your company and leave you a video review or something, especially if they know they're going to get traction for it. So these are ways that we can close those gaps, those emotional gaps of, wow, a visit, a download, a support ticket, to, okay, we have a system in the back end that is running and it is working behind the scenes, whether we are awake or asleep, to make sure that those people are being upsell, cross-sell, they're being nurtured, they're being pulled into different type of streams. So most businesses treat these moments passively. Systems treat them as opportunities. So let's go through the 7 touch points where revenue gets lost the most. And I want to talk through these just because these 7 touch points are going to be points that you need to look at in your own system and make sure these are not points that you are overlooking. So let's jump into point number 1 is what we call first touch. That just means the lead comes in. Normally there's no instant follow-up, there's slow sales response, there's manual routing, and that equals massive revenue lost. Number 2 is going to be first conversation. So first conversation, that just means, if this isn't set up, there's no pre-call nurture, there's no reminder, there's no expectation setting, and no shows skyrocket. So that first conversation is important. That just means if somebody goes on your website and they say, you know what, I do want to talk to sales, and they set up a calendar invite, there should be something in place that automatically starts feeding them information, starting a dialogue with them, learning about them. So by the time they jump on the sales call, the salesperson already knows exactly who he's talking to, what product they're interested in. It's really important. If you don't do that, just good luck. You're going to have no shows. Trust me, I've been there. So number 3 is going to be what we call micro interest signals. So micro interest signals just means that, someone's clicking an email, someone's browsing pricing, someone's opening a text message. They're not making a strong direct push to say, I'm ready to buy. They're just making like a kicking the tires type of signal. And still, we need a system that recognizes these and reacts to it. This could be a lead scoring system that basically scores every click, every email opened, every email clicked, every website visit, every product page visited. And eventually that lead scoring system is going to say, hey, they've made a lot of small micro signals. I think we need to push them to sales now. If you do not have that, you can always set this up with an AI system, and we'll talk about that in the future. But number 4 is going to be post-call decisions. So what does that mean? After a call, what are we doing? Are we high-fiving because the call went well for us? Or do we have a system in the back end that's following up with that lead, making sure, there's a recap, there's a recording of the call just to keep it in front of them. There's a deadline to follow up. We got to make sure all these things are set so that even after you've had the call, immediately there's a text message, there's an email, hey, we're going to follow up with you in 48 hours, 24 hours, hey, here's some information, here's a download of the call just in case you have any questions, go ahead and click this link. There's a lot of things we can do post-call and not just get emotional and then wonder why that customer never filled out the form or never followed through after we've had a high-five call. So, all right, number 5, onboarding. So if that person has purchased, what are we doing for onboarding? New customers want clarity. Most businesses deliver confusion, and churn begins on day one. Because if you buy a product, if you're a SaaS company, if you're a service company, and somebody buys your product, what are you doing to onboard that person to your system? I don't care if you're a plumber or if you are a HVAC person. You need to have a system so that when you've gone to that person's house, done your job, walked away, there is a system that follows that person and sends them an email. Hey, thanks for having us over. Do you mind, filling out this small form? It'll keep us in touch with you. So if something happens, we are immediately there. Next time you have a problem, we'll give you a discount. This is basically good onboarding for service companies. If you're a SaaS company, you need to have onboarding that explains your product a lot better. Hey, here's some videos that you would probably like to see based on the product that you purchased. Things of that nature. Delivery, project execution. So if there's no progress updates, no check-ins, no review asks, then normally the customer trust drops. Now, what I mean by that is if you are a product that has a particular outcome, if you have a SaaS product and companies are buying your accounting product because they want to fix their accounting, how are you following up with those customers after the fact to say, hey, we see you're using the tool very well. Have you thought about this? Hey, looking at how you're using the tool. Hey, you haven't logged in like 2 months. Like, is everything okay? Do you know how to use this? Make sure that you have post-execution delivery systems in place. And lastly, I would just say post-success moments. Post-success moments just means that, this is one of the biggest ones where we're asking for testimonials, referrals, upsells, case study interviews. So if everything's going well, that customer has gotten in, you've trained them well, you followed up with them, the system's making sure that they're happy, then you follow up lastly with that last touch point for that customer that just says, hey, now that you're happy, we've done a great job, the system's been kind of interacting with them, they've been really conversational with your product, your system, your AIs. Now we can ask for referrals, now we can use them as a case study, now we can make a referral video, we can do a lot of different things at this point. So those 7 touch points all cannot be left to chance. If you find that you're missing one of those, now's a great time to make some notes, because we're going to go into ways that you can close these gaps and fix this, okay? So a system turns these into automatic revenue creations. Now, if all 7 of these are systems on your platform, you can't help it. You just can't help it. You're going to be sleeping and making sales. You're going to be on vacation and making sales. You're going to be like one-man show and still making sales, because these systems will be working on the back end and turning people over, cross-selling people, upselling people, getting testimonials for you. This is what you want. And this is what we mean by compounding revenue. You might turn all these systems on today, and a month from now, you're probably thinking, Nathan, I don't see big change. A year from now, you're going to look at a report and say, oh my goodness, why didn't we ever do this before? Because in my experience, you're going to see a really, really big uptick. Up to 60% of revenue happens when you're actually using the customers that you already have. Okay, so this is the framework that we use to turn businesses into revenue machines. Okay, so we're jumping into the framework. We walk through your entire journey from first click to raving fan. And that's what we want for every customer. We don't just want a customer to come by and be ignored. We want that customer to be found the moment they step into our business world. That could be our website, our social media. We want to track them all the way through their sell. And even after the sell, we have those 3 other touch points that we want to make sure. We want to make sure we're onboarding them. We want to make sure that post-call is set up well. We want to make sure they're educated on the product enough to be excited about it. And we want to make sure we're giving them results from our product and that we're following up with those results. And that could be anything. You're probably watching this saying, well, I sell clothing. Hey, I ran 12 clothing stores at one point in time on Shopify. Trust me, it is important that to get one sale and say, okay, great, it's shipped out, it's done, that's great. That's one thing. But to get a sale and have a system that follows up with that customer and knows when that customer got that package and follows up with them and say, hey, I see you got the package. How do you like it? Here's a blog about different ways you can use that, whatever it is, shoe, dress, skirt, whatever. That is great follow-up. And it is great to follow up with them a week after to say, hey, just following up with you, just touching base to see how you like the dress. We do appreciate your support. All these sort of things make customers really love your brand, especially if it's leading them to different cultural sites like your blog and things of that nature. And eventually you're going to have a raving fan that's like, these guys rock. They follow up with me, they talk to me, they made sure my purchase was well, they followed up again just to give me ideas of how to wear my dress or whatever. It doesn't matter what product you are, what company you are. All of this is basically industry agnostic. You need to find a way to put all 7 pillars into your company. Red just means broken. So we're gonna look at all of these touch points, and if it's a red mark from us, that just means you have a broken touch point. That means we're seeing that customers are purchasing and being left alone. We're seeing that customers are jumping on a call and there's no good follow-up sequence. We're seeing that customers are probably all over your website and you're not really tracking them well, you're not scoring them well, so you don't know. So that's going to be red. Amber means that, I'm probably seeing a few automations, but nothing that's following all the way through. That just means that you might say, hey, Nathan, we are tracking when customers view a certain product page, but we're not tracking when they click a link. Or we're tracking when customers fill out a form, but we're not tracking when they land on the form page, because these are kind of things that I think we need to track on. So you can never over-track on behavior. So if somebody's going to a product page and they jump off and they go there and they jump off and they go there for the 3rd time, to me, that triggers a response. That's when I'm sending them an email saying, hey, here's some more information about that product. I see that you've been on the web page, blah, 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 blah. If you really want to pull a trigger, here's a link. That's a great way. Now, if somebody's going to your pricing page, if you're a SaaS company and they're looking at your pricing and they're jumping off and they're coming back and they're jumping off and they're coming back, they're probably kicking the tires, and you need to have an automated email go to that person that says, hey, by the way, we're doing a sell right now. Now that we see that you're interested in this product, 20% off in the next 48 hours. This is something that you can always have set up. So amber just means I'm looking at something that is slightly working, but not necessarily completely following through. And then green obviously means that, we have a process that is tight-knit, working, doing well. Most companies that we look at and most companies we work with are typically going to have some green when it comes to filling out a form. Like they have somebody fills out a form, everybody's jumping on a call, chasing that customer down. There's all these manual actions and there's a lot of automations around form fills. We want to make sure that every possible touch point that lead is doing, even after they are a customer, is being tracked, and we have a system that is trying to steer them into another revenue earning opportunity for us. In my experience, because of this chart, 90% of the people that we work with start red, they eventually get to amber, and if we can get you green, you are in a great place. If you're watching this as a RevOps person, you want to get your client to green as fast as possible, your company to green. If you're watching this as a founder, you want to make sure these touch points are done. Now, you can do this without AI. You don't need AI to build these automations. All you need is a great CRM system. Go high level, HubSpot, Marketo, Salesforce Marketing Cloud, Pardot, Braze, all these systems can do this pretty easily. And if you have this set up, it takes time, but once it's set up, it's going to be a money-making machine for you. Trust me, it's worth the investment. So what we do next, every touch point, we have to answer the question, what do we want this moment to produce? We want a lead to be a booked call. We want a booked call to be a show up. We want a show up to be a decision. We want that decision to turn into a customer. Once they're a customer, we need retention. Once we have retention, we want expansion, cross-selling, upselling. Once we have expansion, we want referral and case study, okay? So we need to make sure that those gaps are not closed. So if we have a lead to a book call, they showed up, they made a decision. Normally, most companies drop them at that point. It's like, well, you sold, you're a customer now. We're just gonna move on to the next person. Now, we gotta make sure that we don't have a churn happening, because normally at month number 3, the average customer on a monthly product will drop that product, especially if there was no communication. So we need to make sure that it's not just stopping at customer, but it's going from customer to retention, to expansion, to referral. And once we have that referral, we have now multiplied that customer more times than we can realize, because we've taken someone who's bought our product, we've turned them into a case study, a video, something on Yelp, some other way that they can now multiply their great experience with many, many other people. And this is one of the biggest compounding factors that's going to work with your business 2-3 years from now. This system will work even if your team doesn't. If you decide to take your company on a company trip to Hawaii, guess what? If you have this set up correctly, it's going to turn those customers into more customers, with or without you. That's the kind of system I love. System that builds itself. So each touchpoint gets a few things, as you can see on screen: a trigger, an automated response, a nurture track, a routing rule, an accountability loop, and a measurement event. A human cannot track all of these micro engagement. A human cannot send a 6-second email the moment that person clicks on a link or fills out a form, So all these things are going to happen with or without your team, but we want to make sure they are in place. And then every 30 days, if you're running the system correctly, you want to do an every 30-day review. And what that means is you're looking at the show up rates, you're looking at conversion rates, you're looking at the time of the first touch, you're looking at lead leakage, onboarding time, retention metrics, and revenue per touch point. This is really important. I talked about the 7 touch points. All of those 7 touch points you can create into 7 different campaigns. All you need to do at that point is run a campaign report and make sure that you can see what campaign is generating the most revenue. And this is really important because it will show you what touch points you're dropping and what you need to optimize. Now, this is when your business becomes a machine. Instead of we hope a lead converts, we know a lead converts. Instead of sometimes clients stay, it's going to be retention is predictable. Even if they leave, we know that our system's going to bring them back in 6 months, 7 months. Maybe we'll get referrals to, nope, we have a referral system. We know that these customers, when they get to a certain point, our system will reach out to them and turn them into a referral, a case study, something that can multiply that customer. And instead of sales being inconsistent, you're saying, hey, sales are inevitable. We're going to get sales. You can stop relying on luck, start relying on systems, and you're going to see that you always have business coming in. So, give you a quick story. I have multiple companies. Outside of our agency here, I have ran 12 Shopify stores. I've built agencies, I've built brokerage firms, and I will tell you, I have done the work yourself to death method, running a clothing store, for instance. I've done the work yourself to death method as an influencer. I have 2 influencer companies. And what I've realized is that one of my influencer companies is a food influencing company. We talk about food. I love to eat. So I was out there just reaching out to restaurant after restaurant after restaurant. Hey, can we work with you? Can we collab with you? Can we do something on Instagram, social media, YouTube? And the customers who came to us and said, sure, we would love to collab with you, and they paid us and we did a great job working with them, I realized that now it's just moving on to the next customer and not even following up with that person. So I had to put a system in place that says, okay, from now on, whenever a new customer comes, we're now putting them in a nurture. What that nurture does is it follows up with them after we've already delivered our product and says, hey, what else can we help you with? Do you need help with social media? We have great social media package. Do you need help with phone calls? We have an AI phone call system. These sort of things will just reach out to them, and it will send them case studies, it will send them news, it will send them different articles, and we have AI churning those articles out. So what that did was allow me to have a funnel of customers that I am not always trying to get, right? So that just means that, we have customers who will come back to us later on and say, hey, I saw this article. How much do you charge for this? Hey, I saw this. Hey, I'm ready for another collaboration. We even have recollab type of workflow. So if you're an influencer and you're watching this and you want to know how you can do this same thing, you trust me, you can. We run 2 successful influencer companies, a travel one, a food one. They both use automations. And I have brands with less than 30,000 subscribers doing close to $6,000 per month, just because they are set to be money-making machines, and they are tight-knit. They have processes and systems that go out. Whether I'm working or not, they are out there finding customers. So this way, you're not relying on luck alone. You're basically relying on a system. So if you want us to map every touch point in your business, go ahead and just type in touch point below. We will actually look at your company and give you a free audit and let you know if you need that kind of help. Otherwise, if you want to do this yourself, go ahead and just click on the link below, and we will have a full blueprint with our coloring system and our audit system ready for you so that you can do your own system audit in your own company, or even if you are a RevOps professional or an automation professional, you can bring this to your next meeting and say, hey guys, how are we doing on these touch points? It'll make you look great and you can thank us for it in the comments. So thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. We do this every week. So hopefully this next week, if you want to see a topic that we are not talking about yet, go ahead and put it below and we will talk about those topics inevitably. So thank you guys again. Talk to you soon.